For more on the political chaos in the UK, we're joined by Anthony Chan, former economist, chief economist at JPMorgan Chase. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
How did we get here? I mean, she's probably still unpacking some of her stuff. I mean, this is unheard of that this has happened. What did she do wrong?
Well, Phil, what she did was to go against the bond vigilantes, to go against the market consensus that somehow if you have a situation with high inflation, that you have to make inflation priority number one and not add too much stimulus to the overall economy, and certainly manage the budget in a way that that the credit markets expect you to do. And if you go against the grain of what the consensus view in the financial markets were, then you pay a price, and that's the price that she had to pay. First,
is her mistake? Because look, Anthony, I look at her policies, and I don't love them by any means, but it's not that crazy from what you hear from other politicians say. Is it the wrong policy at the wrong time? In other words, had she taken perhaps a slightly different path or stretched it out 6 months to a year, this wouldn't have happened.
I think that if she would have stretched it out, maybe we would have had a better chance. But you got to remember, Phil, that what really was the determining factor was the reaction of the financial markets. You saw that sterling plunged to almost near parity against the U.S. dollar. We saw that the 10-year gilt almost went up to an unprecedented high, 447. So when you see those kinds of things happening in a very short period of time, it's almost like a revolt of the financial markets against your policies. And that's something that did not work well in UK politics.
Britain, the UK used to be part of Europe. Then we had this Brexit where they wanted to go alone, right? And the way I look at this plan was for them to go it alone, but be strong, and I don't need help from anybody. We're going to just do our own thing. And to me, this is proven to me that the markets don't certainly like that, going your own way, because they had a lot of doubts as to what the economic plan was. So whoever the next person is going to be to take on this role at 10 Downing Street, how's that? I mean, how should that be different? They still have a crisis to fix in the UK.
Yes, they do, Phil. They still have higher energy prices. They certainly have a situation where this calendar quarter, next calendar quarter, will probably generate negative real GDP growth. They certainly have a British public that is suffering a loss of standard of living because of higher energy prices, just like the rest of Europe. So these problems are simply not going to go away. But defying the financial markets, especially the credit markets and the currency markets, is something that I think the next politician won't do, at least not as aggressively as the prior administration has done.
Explain to us, look, we obviously we're a business show, but some of the stuff you're talking about is a bit detailed. Why do the credit markets matter so much when it comes to the economy? I understand they're borrowing money, but I think it has something to do with the currency getting significantly weaker and the loss of confidence, so that the bond market wouldn't be able to, I guess, issue new bonds. Is it similar to maybe having your credit card kind of pulled from you a little bit?
Well, it is certainly an unraveling of the financial markets. Taking a step back, Phil, remember that all global central banks, or at least the major ones, are trying to fight inflation. And to do that, they were going to be raising interest rates, and they were also going to be unwinding their balance sheet, which is another way of saying selling some of their, getting rid of the bonds that they had in their balance sheet, selling them. But in the case of the gilt market or their bond market, interest rates started growing very, very fast. And you saw some of the financial players, the pension funds, for example, getting caught in that whirlwind and losing money, and the central bank having to come in and not sell any bonds, but actually buy bonds, which actually fuel inflation. So went counterproductive to what the financial markets were expecting. So there were many, many forces at play, and they all worked against what the Prime Minister was doing.
So the next date I saw, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I saw October 28th as one of the deadlines to select a new the new leader there. Between now and then, I mean, it's not very long, but I feel like a lot of bad things can happen between now and the end of the month. What should we expect as global investors, or what should we do between now and then? I guess we do nothing.
Well, we continue to listen to the words of Jeremy Hunt to make sure that he is real focused on putting out a budget that is going to be viewed as being responsible for the government. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, decided not to put his hat in the ring for Prime Minister, because he wants to ensure that there is stability between now and then. Not to mention the fact that it probably won't hurt his chances to keep his job, but he certainly steps away from the top job, and that is something that the UK financial markets will appreciate.
It still doesn't seem real. I think someday they're going to write a movie or a book about this. Anthony Chan, really appreciate you helping us navigate through this chaos in the UK. Thank you.